Controversies in psychological research. Psychological research is important because it helps us understand human behavior. But sometimes, how research is done, or what it studies, can cause controversy, disagreement, or debate. These controversies raise ethical, cultural, and scientific concerns. Example: in the Milgram obedience experiment, 1960s, people were told to give electric shocks to others. Even though the shocks were fake, the participants didn't know that, and many were traumatized. People still debate whether this kind of research is too harmful, even if it teaches us something important. Other controversies include use of animals in experiments. Is it cruel or necessary? Deception in experiments. Is it okay to lie to participants for research purposes? Cultural bias. Research done in the West may not apply to other parts of the world. Biases in psychological research. Let's talk about bias in psychological research. A bias means there is something in the research that makes the results unfair or inaccurate. It means the results don't fully reflect the truth, and this can affect how we understand people. Bias can come from the researcher, the participants, or even the method used in the study. Let's look at the main types of bias. Researcher bias. Sometimes the researcher may expect a certain result, and without realizing it, they may influence the study. Example: a researcher might smile more or give more attention to one group because they want a certain answer. This changes how participants respond, and that affects the results. Sampling bias. This happens when the group being studied doesn't represent everyone. Example: if a study is only done on college students from one university, the results might not apply to older adults, people from different cultures, or children. Gender or cultural bias. Some studies in the past were done mostly on Western white male participants, but the results were applied to all people, ignoring how women or people from different cultures might behave differently. Example: a theory developed from U.S. college men may not explain behavior in rural African or Asian communities. Why bias matters. If bias is present, research results become unreliable, and this can lead to wrong conclusions. Imagine giving the wrong therapy or advice just because the research was biased. To reduce bias, psychologists now use tools like random sampling, blind studies, where the participant doesn't know what group they are in, and peer review, where other experts check the research. So being aware of bias helps us make psychology more fair, accurate, and useful for everyone. Psychology and science. Let's talk about whether psychology is a real science. Some people say yes, others say no, and this creates a bit of debate. Psychology is often called a social science because it studies people, how they think, feel, and behave. But unlike chemistry or physics, which deal with things like atoms or gravity, psychology deals with the human mind, which is much more complex. Why psychology is a science? Psychology uses the scientific method. That means psychologists ask a question, form a hypothesis, test it with experiments, and then analyze the results, just like scientists in a lab do. They collect real data through different methods: experiments in labs, surveys and questionnaires, observations of people in real-life settings, and they try to make predictions, like how stress might affect memory or how children learn language. Example: imagine a psychologist wants to know how sleep affects memory. They can design an experiment. One group sleeps 8 hours, another sleeps only 4, and both take a memory test. That's controlled, scientific testing, just like a biologist testing how sunlight affects plants. Why some people doubt psychology as a science. Human behavior is unpredictable. Two people may react very differently to the same situation. Sometimes research findings can't be repeated exactly. This is called the replication crisis. Thoughts and emotions are invisible. We can't see or measure them directly, like temperature or weight. Conclusion: so while psychology is different from physical sciences, it still follows the rules of science. It helps us understand people using evidence, not guesses or opinions.